What's up, y'all? What's up? We are back again with another episode of What's Tea with Becky. And today I have a special co-host today. Well, I'm gonna say a
Hello.
special guest. She might become a co-host eventually, but right now I got LT, aka my cousin. Okay. And tonight we are going to be touching on. It's going to be like a part two to the previous episode that I did recently. If y'all been tuning in, y'all know I did an episode about me dealing with grief with my mom. So I'm gonna let LT tell y'all about her situation with dealing with her grief with her brother. So I'm gonna let you have the floor and give the people a little insight.
So for most people who may not know me, um, uh, a year ago, a year and like a few days ago, um, my life and everybody in my family life changed drastically. We got a call that one of my oldest brothers had gotten killed um, in Chicago, and at first the shock, it was just like, okay, no, it's not true, you know. Um, if you know my brother, he was like he was one of the strongest people I know, physically, mentally, emotionally. He was a protector. He was a hero. For God's sake, he went up to the Navy, so he wasn't just like a hero in like everybody's life. He actually served his country, and so to know that someone took his life away, um, with no explanation was like it was mind blown. So like I said, the shock kind of it was like kind of shock. You know, the grief process starts immediately. You're like, no, no, this person's gonna wake back up. This person's gonna walk through the door. So that's kind of where it started. Um, and then like it was just it was a roller coaster. Um, and like from it's been a roller coaster ever since. One minute you can never be okay with it because this person was taken from you. But in the next minute, you know, you have to continue to live. You have to do the best that you can to make this person proud. That's what keeps me going, at least. As long as I can make this person proud, it keeps this person's legacy going. Um, my job, it helps me get through this grief process, honestly.
So not only a year ago that your brother got killed, how long it's been since your mom passed?
It has been, she died. Um, I was turning 21. I'm 27. She died 6 years ago on the 5th of January.
How did you deal with that grief?
Um, it was it was hard because that was the first person who truly close to me, like as like close, like as in like my immediate family, um, that knew me inside and out, that could read me like a book. Um, it was hard at first. Like I said, it was very hard. I couldn't, I didn't really know how to process it because, like I said, I had never lost someone that close to me. Um, but eventually, like I said, I kind of I pep talk myself a lot. Like you gotta keep going. There's like you can't give up. Um, this person, no, they cannot prepare me for their death, but um, they gave me the tools and equipped me with the tools to help me keep keep a positive mindset and look at the memories as the bright side of things. You know, um, recollect like re mesmerizing on the memories, really, really is what keeps me going with my grief process.
Does it make it, well, of course it doesn't make it easier, but after dealing with your mom, did you process the Juan's death a little bit easier, so to say?
Um, no, I took his death a lot harder. Um, with my mom, I will say, it felt like a piece of my heart was ripped out, and like it's like no matter how you try to like stitch to mend your heart, it just never really you could there's nothing you could do to mend that part. And for some reason, even though it was my brother, it felt like my soul was taken from me, if that makes sense.
Because like you and y'all was like super close. Like Dewan was like y'all second daddy, pretty much.
Exactly. um it was it was hard, it was very tough and very hard to his almost broke me, um yeah. His almost broke me. Like it was very tough. Um, it was, and it was the manner in which they
Yeah.
died. Because like my mom was in her 50s when she passed away. Dawn was really just starting to live life and see life and get to experience a lot more things in life. Um, and so um, it was just like, how can somebody do that and not know the impact that they were doing? Like it was a lot different. Like my mom died of like kind of natural causes, if you want to say,
Mm-hmm.
and Dewan never had a chance.
Right.
Um, so it's like I said, I definitely, and then it's like with my mom, he was there for me to help me process and get through his death because he felt that pain. And then it's like he was one of the main people. Like I would talk about it, we would talk about it, and like now who, you know. So I definitely took his death hard. It's hard, like it's hard to lose a parent, but at sometimes that's the way life is supposed to be. Our parents are supposed to go before us,
Yeah.
and for him to have like like I said, he for senseless. It was senseless.
Yeah.
Um, and that's the part that really hurts me. Um, that like I said, he didn't have a chance, and that part hurts me like hell.
Yeah. We went through something similar because like I wasn't y'all age, but we was way younger. I think I was probably like 11 or 12 when my brother was killed. One of my older brothers, and it wasn't to gun violence, but he was beaten to death by some dudes. And I think that was like the first real death for me that was close to lose a sibling. It was like crazy. And then so young, like my brother was like the rock to us because he was like a real big brother. He took time out with us and stuff like that. Like he got our hair did. He did a lot for us. Like that was just like y'all, like Dewan was to y'all, he was to us. So, but the age difference, I kind of wish I would have had a little more time with my brother. But
And
how?
it was like, and that's the thing. Like we're getting older. Like we could do a lot more things with him. Like we went to a booze cruise. And we enjoyed ourselves. And of course, he's a protective big brother. Hi, he's like you. If like I said, if you know Dewan, he's a protector. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And don't two things you don't play with him. First is his kids, and second is his little sisters. Like those two things you do if you want to see a lion, you mess with those two with him, and you like it was just like you would be like, Dawn, like calm down. I'm okay. I'm okay. I can handle myself right now, big bro. You know. But I'm always, we're always his little sister, no matter how old we got. We could be freaking 75 years old and he's like 85. He's like, oh, leave. leave him, like
Mhm.
and it was just the fact of like another thing is like we we would never see him grow old.
Yeah.
We would never see him. He would never see his grandchildren.
Right.
Um, and like it was for me personally, like I said, for me personally, it was hard. It was hard to comprehend that and grasp that honestly,
Hmm.
because it's just like this is not how life is supposed to be.
How many of y'all is it?
It is with him. It was 9.
9.
Now it's 8.
How do y'all handle that within y'all siblingship? Like, did that kind of sort of bring y'all like more closer, like with your Mark Quinn and them?
It did honestly. It definitely brought me a lot closer with Marquand and Martell, honestly. Like they seem like I said, I'm always gonna be the listener. They always gonna be like,
Of course.
okay, but like but I really think they see and understand how strong I am. I'm their little sister, but I can handle a lot more than what like I feel like that people perceive.
Mm,
Especially in my siblings, it's with my older siblings. Like we try to protect the older siblings try to protect the younger ones,
mm,
and is like it was just it brought me a lot closer with them. Like I said, they see me more so I feel like they see me more so as like an adult that can handle herself versus um versus a little girl. Yeah, and like I said, we all like we are just we family. We love each other no matter what. We might get into it with each other and say like go crazy and go off on each other, but we wouldn't do that if we didn't love you.
right.
I believe all of our intentions, as far as my siblings, all of our intentions for each other and everything is, um, it's love. It's always going to be love. And if we don't say nothing, then we're not doing our job as the older siblings.
Right. How did y'all like kids take it? Because I know he was like real instrumental in the kids' life too.
Um, sometimes sometimes it hits them in different ways. I know for me, my little one, my oldest baby, for a good stretch for like 2 or 3 months, she was having a hard time with it. Like she'd cry and she'd be like, "Well, why can't he come back?" And it's just like, how do you explain to a 5 year old
Right.
what happened? How do you explain to a 5 year old that this is not how life is supposed to be? How do you explain to them? And then it was kind of really tough for me because I was dealing with postpartum plus really the grief, like really fully starting to go through the grief process. So it was really tough on me personally. I would say I can't speak for all my siblings, but I know um, it was everything's just hitting me at once,
Hmm.
and it felt really dark. And it was bad. It got like it was just like it felt like I was drowning, but I was still here.
Right.
And it's just like how the hell do I keep myself from drowning?
Right. So, like,
Um,
what steps did you take to like go through the grieving process? Like, did you ever like think about therapy?
I was segueing into that. So I had to make the decision that I could not process my emotions and my grief and my postpartum. It was becoming overwhelming. It was becoming really overwhelming for me. So I did reach out to therapy. I did. That's the avenue I took, and one of the best decisions in my life. One of the best decisions in my life. Like, I've learned tools and techniques, and um, I've learned more about myself by just going to therapy. You
Mm,
know, it's been a very eye opening experience. It's been a roller coaster, but a good roller coaster.
mm-hmm.
Um, I wasn't afraid of the roller coaster. I'll say I wasn't afraid of this roller coaster. Um, I needed to get on that roller coaster in order to be where I am today.
Mm. Yeah, I was listening to the radio today, and this pastor was on there, and he was like, he was driving in the car with his son, and his son was like, it was raining really bad, and they were like, "Oh, Dad, don't you think we should pull over?" He was like, "Nah, keep going." And he was like, they kept driving. They seen some cars on the side of the road, and he was like, "Dad, should I pull over?" And his daddy was like, "Nah." And so they kept driving through the storm, and it finally stopped raining. And he was like, "Wow, Dad, it stopped raining." And he was like, "Right, you got to go through the storm in order to see the rainbow at the end." So I just thought that was like, man, that was a word. But that's like with grief too. You like really gotta go through all emotions of it in order for you to get some type of common ground.
And like, yeah, I definitely agree. Like, for like, for my mom, it was like I said, I was just really trying to understand the grief process. But for my brother, um, I understood it. It was just hard for me to comprehend it, like
Processing.
better, process it. Yeah, it was just hard for me to kind of like process it because it was just like it was so many unanswered questions, and it was hard for me to say. It was hard for my brain to process. Like, damn, like I need answers. That's
Mhm.
just my nature. I need answers, and until I get certain answers, it's hard for my brain to stop going over the what ifs, the ifs and buts and everything.
Mhm.
It was hard for me. Um, and yeah, just it was his death was tough on me, you know. Um,
How long was the one in the Navy?
I was in the Navy for 4 years.
For?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, it was just it was kind of it was that's probably the worst thing I could have went through in my entire life.
Mhm.
Um, but like I said, like you said, in order to see the rainbow, you have to go through. Like you
Yeah.
have to weather through the rain.
You definitely got to, because like I was with my mom, I was at a point where I definitely attempted suicide like twice. And the third time I was like, I seen my child's face. And that was the only thing that stopped me from doing it, going through with it, because I was like, I don't want him to feel the same pain that I'm going through. So why would I inflict that on him? And that was like the breaking point for me, where I was like, okay, I need some type of therapy or something, because this ain't working.
And I agree. Like I've never attempted it, but it definitely crossed my mind. It definitely crossed my mind. It's just like, but then it's like, then my mind goes, okay, so if I did attempt it, my kids are gonna feel the same pain. But not only that, my siblings and my father. My father will lose another child, and my siblings will lose another sibling. You
Mm,
know, I've seen what my brother's death did to us. On a personal hand, for most of my siblings, I've seen what it did to us, and it like, man, like it 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 hit us in so many different ways. It's just like when it first happened, like I said, when it first happened, I was just like, I told kids, I'm like, I was supposed to protect, we were supposed to protect each other, and for us not to be able to protect him, it was just, it really hurt, you
mm,
know. It just like I said, it just feel like your soul is missing. That's how deep our bond and connection was with our brother,
mhm,
Well, like it was hard. But if I look at his kids and I look at our kids and I look at my dad, and for him to keep going, like my dad lost a son that night, but he also lost his best friend.
mm,
Like if you know the one and you know my dad, that was one of his best friends.
mm,
When Dewan wasn't at home, Dewan was with my dad. Uh, and it's just like if my dad can keep going and show me that he's strong, then I can too.
mhm.
I lost a sibling, but he lost a child, and I can't even begin to
Right.
fathom that. I
Yeah.
can't begin to even fathom that.
Mhm,
Um, so yeah, it was it was it was just really it was just everywhere. But like I said, therapy, I am a very strong advocate for therapy, no matter whether it's the grief process, anxiety, depression. I'm a very strong advocate. I've always been a strong advocate for therapy. I dealt with anxiety pretty bad
Mm,
as a child growing up. But like I said, I've always been an advocate for therapy. It may not be for everyone, but I think at least once in your life, if you're going through something that you really can't like control, or it becomes too overwhelming for you, I definitely think therapy could be an option for you. But also, we're going with that. You have to find the right therapist for
yeah,
you,
definitely.
because your my therapist may not. We might be dealing with similar things, but your therapist, you need to find something that's more tailored for you.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely. And I feel like people need to have unbiased opinion, somebody that don't know you, because you can like family be like, "Oh, you got me. You could talk to me." Blah 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 blah. But it's like you gonna try to just soothe me and have that little sympathy, and I don't need that. I need for somebody to help me through the process and not like coddle me and make me feel like everything is gonna be all right, and I know it's not.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with that. Like, it's crazy because I told my therapist, I'm like, I need like, I needed that unbiased opinion. I needed you to tell me, hey, like, break it down for me, because I couldn't break it down for myself at that point.
Hmm.
It was just like everything was thrown into a blender and somebody pressed blend, and I couldn't, I didn't know how at that point. I didn't know how to sort it out and take take it out the blender and put it back together the way I wanted it to. Um,
Hmm.
and I needed the help, but I also think that you need to have there needs to be some self realization within yourself that says, "Hey, I need help. This
Hmm.
shit it's becoming too much, so I need help." And I think that's the beginning of the process. M- Both my therapist was saying like they they see me when this shit was in the fan for me. Um, they seen it, and now we talk, and they're just like, oh, like I would have never thought that you've overcome so much. Like you were like you can say that you were broken almost when you came here, but right now this you're stronger. You're so much stronger, so much stronger. And um, to hear somebody that only know only know a part of me from what I'm
Hmm.
telling them, to say, "Damn, you are so strong, and I am proud of you for that." Um,
Makes you
it feels
feel good.
good.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
feels really good. Like all of my therapists, they're like, "Yeah, when you came, I could see the pain, the hurt, the sad. I could see it in your eye. Now, this girl right now, baby, I like it's a different. You have it's a piece. Not it's not a piece. I would never be at peace with him
Right.
being healed the way that he was.
Right.
But in order for me to keep processing and keep going through my life, I have to, like you said, you have to have some type of common ground to
Mm.
deal with it in a positive manner.
Mm.
Um,
What
so yeah,
tools do you feel like you learned from therapy that you find yourself using like right now?
for me personally, the tools um I have learned through therapy to give myself grace, honestly. Um, I feel like as um just and I'm gonna segue a little bit. I feel like as a black woman, we do not give ourselves enough grace. We are so hard on ourselves. We are our biggest critics, and we are so hard on ourselves when we should be allowing ourselves grace. Shit happen, and it's okay for us to deal with that shit. Um, and not be ridiculed or, oh, you're mad or why are you upset? I'm human. I deserve every emotion that I go through, that you go through. I deserve those same emotions to
Mhm.
go through too. So um, one of my biggest thing is that I have learned is to give myself grace. Um, and like um, just go and feel, you know, don't tune things out.
Mhm.
It's crazy because when my mom died and Dawn was killed, I was pregnant. So it was like, a lot of people, their coping mechanisms become alcohol, like bad influence shit. Not saying if that's what you do, then that's what you do.
Right.
But they turn to um, different things to deal with that pain. And with being pregnant, I couldn't, you know.
You really had to go through all the emotions.
Yes, I had to go through all of the emotions. And then not only that, now I have a new bundle of joy, and they won't meet this new bundle of joy won't meet the some of the most important people in my life who influence me and how I am, and who shaped me to be the woman that I am.
Mhm.
So it's just like it was hard. It was just super hard, just dealing with, just like I said, dealing with the the steps in the process of the grief process. It was just really hard because like I couldn't go I couldn't go take a shot. I couldn't drown my sorrow in a bottle of alcohol. I couldn't roll a blunt and just like chill out, like zone out. I couldn't do that. Because there was literally a whole nother life depending on my
Right.
survival.
Do you
Um,
feel like you like, because I'm sure you went through the angry stage as all everybody did. Do you feel like you took your anger out on like your kids unintentionally?
no, no. Because I did not do that at some point in time with the ones that I wouldn't say I took my anger out, but I became more irritable than I normally would. And at that point, I'm just like, that's when I said, oh shit, I need to get help because I can't control my irritability and it's not their fault. Okay, baby. Um, it's not their fault. With my mom, I didn't have kids at that point, but with Joanne, like I said, I didn't necessarily take anger out on them. I just was a lot more irritable. And then, like I said, at that point, I knew I couldn't control my irritability. So I needed help with just processing everything, putting all the puzzle pieces, attempting to put all the puzzle pieces back
Mm-hmm.
together a little bit. Um, but it was never ill intention to take my anger out on them. And if I did feel at that point and say, sometimes I would snap out of it. I'm just like, what am I doing? And I am woman enough and grown enough to, I'll pull my big baby aside, even my small baby, and say, you know what, mommy is sorry. I'm so sorry. It's not like, I, I would explain like, it's not your fault. I'm sorry.
Right.
You know. So yes, I did kind, like I said, I was more irritable. I wasn't necessarily angry, but I was more irritable.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and but at the end of the day, when I noticed that I I was man enough to say, hey, you know what, mom is really sorry. Um, and I think they sensed some of my irritability,
Yeah,
and
kids definitely can sense when you're going through stuff. Cause like when I was going through the situation with my mama, Chase would just like randomly hug me and be like, "Oh, you're the best mom ever," and I'd be like, "Okay, bro." Like I couldn't. It was so deep for me. I couldn't even accept the love that my child was trying to give me.
like kids are resilient. Kids are resilient. I swear. Um, like you said, um, like it warms my heart to know that like my baby, she did that. She was just like, "Mommy, it's okay, baby. It's okay, mommy. It's okay. I love you. I love you so much." And I'm like, "I love you too. I love you too." Or even just seeing her smile, like just seeing her smile, just by seeing me, um, it on some of the tough days, it definitely helped on some of the tough days.
Mm.
So yeah, they definitely, even the, like the little 8 month old, she she has her own little personality, and she helps. Um, it's just like I said, to see their smile. It sometimes it get me through the hard days.
Hmm. So now
Um,
with it passing a year, how did you like deal with the first year
I had to go through the motions. I had to go
all over
through it.
again?
Um, I had to go through it. Like I said, I was dealing with compounds on top of compounds, like the postpartum. That hit me a lot harder this time. The grief hit me a lot harder. So yeah, it was like um a couple people checked on me, and it was crazy because the during the first year it was harder for me to accept the fact that he was gone, but on the anniversary of his death, um I it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. Like I was sad, and I had to take a step back from work one day. I was just like, oh, I had to like take a step back, and I had to breathe a little bit. But I know with my mom, yeah, up until this year, honestly, because she died the day after my 21st birthday. So,
Mm.
after my mom passed away, it was just like every year after, I would feel sadness would wash over me, like really bad, and but this year was different. This year it was not sadness. It was um I was kind of like a little bit at peace. I was stronger. I was so much stronger than I had been the previous years. And then as like Jawan's death date came about, I was it was weird because like the last few months, like I would be somewhere and I would smell his scent. Like it was crazy. Like the way he smelled would trigger me. Like I would be somewhere and I'd be like, it would be like one day I was in the store, and like this couple had been walked past, but I had got to the end of the aisle, and like as I was turning out, it was no one there, but I can smell. It smelled like him. Like the way his house smelled, the way he smelled, the way his car smelled, it smelled like him, and I just had to take a step back, and I smiled because I said, you know what, and in my head to help me process and understand. I'm just like, this is him telling me that he's here with me.
Hmm.
Um, and it was just weird because like a couple days before his death day, I was in a store, the grocery store again, and like shit was just falling off the shelves. Like literally, there was nobody right there. I wouldn't even be right there, and it was just some like fall out the shelf, and it like literally happened to me all throughout the store. And I took that as a sign of he's here. He's letting me know that he's here, and that I'm okay. You know.
He's still trying to protect you.
Exactly. I said, my ass said, shit, I ain't going through no, I'm not going through the, aisle with the canned goods, because I'd be damn if something fall off this shelf and hit me. Luckily it was on like bread and like bagels and cakes and, like spices. So I was like, yeah, I ain't going to I literally said out loud, I'm like, I am not about to go into this canned aisle because
Right.
stuff literally keeps falling out the shelf every time I walk past it, and I'm not touching it. I'm in the middle of the aisle, and stuff is just falling out the shelves. So, yeah, I was just like, okay, this is it. That I think that's kind of what helped me with dealing with his death date. Um, that he gave me a sign to say, hey, I'm here. I'm still here, Lissus. I may not physically be here, Lissus, but I'm here. You know.
Hmm.
So do you have any like what triggers you, like with me, what scent really triggers me?
For me,
um
I just got to a stage where I could actually look at a picture. Like for me, it was like a picture or like just the fact that when it happened, I started like, or around the time that she passed, I'll be going through something. And then it's like, whenever I go through anything, she the first person I call for the littlest things. Now I can't pick up the phone and be like, Mom, guess what? And it just like, it's a realization because I don't think that even though it's been 2 years now, I didn't really process it. I always like push it in the back of my mind to not think about it. And I don't think I even through the therapy and everything, I don't think I really dealt with the grief. But I think now I'm really dealing with it and it's a little bit easier because I already got the tools and everything. So like
Mhm.
I could even talk about it now. At first I was like mute. I wasn't talking about it, kept all my emotions and feelings. Like you was walking on eggshells with me.
And I definitely know how to like. It's crazy. With the pictures because the pictures with me, pictures of him, kind of triggers me a little bit. Like it makes me kind of sad, because it's kind of like that picture freezes him in time, you know. Um, and another thing I learned with that is take pictures, take videos, because at some point in time, that's going to be the only thing you have left for this person,
Yeah.
or that's going to be the only thing that your family or your kids, if you have kids, um that they have left for you, you know.
Mm,
So sometimes I try to get a picture in a day, some days I may look real terrible, and then some days I'm like, oh, this is super cute, but like, just take pictures. Tell people you love them, cause like life is so fucking short. Like,
too short.
um, um, and like going retracting a little bit. We're doing it's just like, um, and I've spoken, well, at least to my younger siblings, or like my siblings around my age. We feel like it was crazy because the world felt cold when Dewan was taken from us. Like it's just like it's a sense of like if this can happen to him, like I
Right.
felt I felt scared. Like honest to God, um, out of my entire life, I've never felt like scared like I felt when he died. But it's just like this Captain, what the fuck? I have no chance in hell of surviving.
Mm,
Um, it was um, just like I said, the manner that he got, that he was taken from us. It was crazy. It was just like in my entire life, I've never felt that scared.
mm.
Um,
Yeah, that's
um,
even for me, I was like, when they called me and told me, I'm like, who? I was like, who? Y'all, stop lying. Like, what? I didn't even believe it myself. I'm like, nah, the wine ain't even that type of person. How? I was like in
yeah.
shock myself. I can only imagine what y'all, how y'all was feeling.
It was just like this guy was trained to shoot a gun. This guy was trained. This guy was like you know my brother. Like I said, if people knew my brother, they'd be like, really? Like it was just such a shock. And what was like even a bigger shock, like I said, one thing about me is like protecting his legacy and keeping his legacy alive. Um, I was talking to my therapist the other day, and I was just saying like Dewan touched, even though he was on this earth for 30, 35, no, 30, yeah, 35 years, he touched so many people's lives, like a lot of people. And when he loved you, he loved you. He genuinely loved you. And to know him was to love him. Yeah, he may be a pain in the butt sometimes with his sternness. But like I said, if he was not stern with you, that's a problem with him because like he's only gonna do that with people that he genuinely loved. And it was just like um it helped it kind of got me thinking about my legacy that
Right.
I want to leave on this earth. Like, man, he was loved by so many people. Like I said, if I can only touch a even if I touched just a portion of those people, like they genuinely loved him for who he was,
Right.
and it was just crazy. Like wherever he went, he found like he had his family where it was blood, no matter what, blood over anything. But in different instances, he found other like he was so he was so him and so genuine that wherever he went, some they see him as family.
Yeah,
Um,
because I mean, we all kind of grew up together, and I'm like, it's crazy how our families like intertwine like that. I didn't know that that wasn't my real, not my real cousin. Like you couldn't tell me that that he ain't my cousin.
but yeah, it was crazy. I go back to Alameda. Like I didn't know we were cousins. He was like, how do you know? How do you know my cousin's mom? I'm like, why are you in the picture with her? And he was like, that's my whole auntie. I'm like, no, that's not. That's my whole mother. I'm like, he was like, no. I say she got kids, Martell and Mark Wayne. And you're like, yeah. I'm like, bruh, that's my whole brothers. Those are my brothers.
What's crazy is the whole time when we was at Alpha, I'm like, I'm in my head, I'm like, this girl looks so freaking familiar. I'm like, I know, and it's crazy because we crossed paths at your grandma's house because I was always with Deborah, so I'm like, this I know this girl, but I couldn't put my finger on it until you seen the picture. And I'm like, wow,
Yeah, we were like, we
crazy.
were like, we were like, yeah. I was like, we family. Um, thank you. I'm not. I was just like, we're family, and he was like, I was like, yeah, that's my whole brother. He's like, no, bro, that's my whole cousin. I'm like, no, I'm like, legitly, those are my whole brothers. I was like, we started running off people's names. We're like, that's that's yeah, we found, you know. And like I said, it's been really supportive. Like I appreciate all the support I can get with going through my grief process because it's not easy for me to let people in to help me with that. And I learned that
Yeah,
sometimes
it's
you
been
can't
vice
take it
versa.
alone.
So
You can't in this process. You can't take things on alone. Honestly,
no, definitely can't.
reach out when you need help. Reach out when it starts to become too much
Yeah.
because you are loved and you are not in this alone.
Yeah, and my siblings, we like before any of this even happened, we started a group chat. But even more so now, we like really be in a group chat, like kicking it. We on FaceTimes, all kind of things. Just like for this year, my mom's anniversary, we didn't like do a balloon release and all that. We was in our group chat and we just like named off things like, oh, you got my mama attitude, you got my mama this, you got her that. Like just named off things that we see ourselves and our mom and stuff like that. I thought that was really dope.
Um, and like I said, I definitely think you definitely need that support system. Um, Sometimes death and grief brings people together, and sometimes it pull them apart. Um, but it takes a special kind of it takes effort from all parties to
Yeah.
keep going. And like I said, we were like glue. You know me and my siblings, we like glue. If one rocking, we all fucking rolling. We don't give a damn. We all rocking and rolling together. Shit, one gonna go to jail with this shit. We all going. That's just how we are. Um, and I love and appreciate that I have siblings like that because not everybody can say they have siblings like
Yeah, for sure.
that. Like I said, I had never really seen emotions from like my dad and my older brothers, and to see how hurt it had them like I was just like goddamn, and it was
Yeah,
just like
because even with how y'all is with the one, he was like that with them too. Like that's why I'm like, I didn't know the one wasn't my little cousin. Like he was at all kind of events and everything.
so another thing that I learned with him is go to that event, go to that party, make those memories. Make those memories because, like I said, that's gonna be the only thing
Mm,
that you have left, to be honest. And just to share certain times and things with Dawn, it made our bond that much stronger and that much more special. Like um, being able to take a road trip with him was fucking fantastic.
I
Yeah,
can
we got to
imagine.
we had got in each other's head, but we were old enough at the point where um it was crazy because we went out of town to see our oldest sister, and
Asia,
we was
not Asia,
discussing
that's, what's
no
her name?
Ashley,
Ashley. Yeah.
and none of us wanted to go because we don't see her every year or every few years. Like none of us wanted to go, but me and him had got into it, and then I got emotional and I had stormed out, and I was just like I had to take a deep breath or whatever after we had got like share heated words,
Mm,
and we were he came to me and he said you know what, let's just, I know you don't want to go, I don't want to go either, um and we were able to talk things out as like adults,
mm,
and I'll always remember that he was just like, I love you, sister. I'm like, I love you too. And we just that's just an experience that we shared that um not a lot of people, not a lot of our family could say that they shared that with him, um
mm,
and like it was just like I said, um it was it's been sometimes that stuff come up and it gets kind of hard sometimes, um but like I said, I know he loves me and he knew I loved him, and that's one of the big things that keeps me going, honestly. um
mm,
as long as he knew I loved him and that he loved, and I know for a fact that he loved me, um that kind of keeps me, I'm not gonna say on the straight and narrow, but it keeps me going.
mm.
So yeah, let me get that book. But yeah,
Yeah. So I know you got the baby. You trying to get that together. We've been on for 40, almost 50 minutes. So um thank you for sharing your experience and giving us a little insight to who the one was and how you dealing with your grief and everything like that. Um, yeah, I appreciate you for coming on.
anytime, anytime.
that mean you're gonna be a returning co-host. you gonna, now you gotta have to pick your topic and come on another time when we ain't.
Anytime. Like I said, we could chop it up. We could discuss a couple things, and I'll definitely be back.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank y'all for tuning in. Whoever all did tune in, thanks for the likes, the comments, the shares. And this has been another episode of What's Tea with Becky. Thank
Mhm.
you.
Bye.